All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eric Mashinsky. I am your founder, editor, portfolio manager of the Phenom Crypto Letter. There's a lot of you that are new to we've transferred over the email system that we've been using. It's been a little bit of a cluster, as some of you have noticed over the course of on and off with, I have an analyst that I have here who helps with quite a bit of research and things. He also runs our weekly condensed news recap that you get every week, and I hope a lot of you enjoy that. Um, and but using one particular source for that, I'm a little bit older school in the sense that Aweber is a platform that I've used since 2011 when I left being an active professional investor on the stockbroker side of things. I've had a very kind of unique, I think, career path to lead me to the point where today, you very well may want to take some of the information that I give you to heart because um, crypto has been really, really good to me. And I feel like my entire career, I'm 50 right now, I became a stockbroker, licensed stockbroker at the age of 20. And lots of background in tech, but then in 2011, when I chose the autoresponder, Aweber, meaning what you get your emails from right now, is what I had chosen. And so I've been a client there for almost 15 years. And the gold investment letter, we cover and finance gold companies, mining companies, publicly traded deals. That's been my bread and butter. However, tech, always active. It was probably the more active side of my career in terms of where did I put clientele money, venture capital. I've been an angel investor virtually all of this time. And then crypto. I came, gold being money, Bitcoin being money modeled after money, which was gold in the system there, making it a step potentially better in a deflationary environment versus still a very modest inflationary profile for gold over a period of time. I think they're both friends. They're compatible. They make sense to both own based on defense and offense against the debasement of our fiat currencies around the world, which is just not going to be able to stop um, because of the debt levels that our nations are holding. Most of you understand this. On this particular just briefing over the weekend, I wanted to reintroduce myself and or just introduce myself. I'm the reason that people are here. And I've had a couple of very, very successful investment newsletters. The one I mentioned, goldinvestmentletter.com. I launched that at the top of the bull market, it was ironically back when rare earth stocks and gold was hitting highs, rare earth stocks were getting out of control. And I remember it was the top month. It was either September or October of 2011. And I decided to name it the Gold Investment Letter and stick with this niche that I had been branching off in and learning about investing in mining stocks. 4-year brutal bear market that I built the Gold Investment Letter into. Started out with a couple dozen of my clients who were, clients that I was their broker for many, many years. Brought them over into just, basically keeping my finger into the capital markets, which is where, I believe that I thrive and I have unique experiences and skills that I can apply and I will distill for you here that'll be worth anybody's time, whether you are a fund manager, you're running a sovereign wealth portfolio, you are an RIA, you are a family office, you are a retail individual who's just trying to get ahead and make some money and are willing to take some risk in this crypto sphere, and not just be one of the suckers who gets, memed after memed and then body slammed after body slammed. I don't do any of that shit. And also, I want to mention something up front, just a couple of unique things for those of you that are interested in listening to the last part of this video, which is going to give you some of our premium recommendations. I'm going to share that with you because a couple of weeks back, we had a flub in our communication. apparently an unapproved email, which basically featured a prediction market that was like some random prediction market situation that when I saw that I was pretty infuriated. Because the Phenom Crypto letter, the way that we've rolled, except for a couple of tests earlier on, like a year and a half ago, when Will, who was running the daily letter, figured he would try to help with the Beehive system that we were using, and at least bringing in some monetization beyond the slow growth, which is converting people once we get a relationship here on the free list, converting people to the premium list where I'm getting paid directly from you, the investor, you, the trader. And, that's where a lot of these newsletters, podcasts, and things, that's how they monetize things, is they take on sponsors. I just want to make it clear that is never going to happen again, ever. If we ever take a sponsorship, rest assured it is going to be a recognizable name, or certainly a name with that is very very established, that you can check out, that is pretty much brand building in front of the crypto community. The type of things I'm talking about are like Trezor, or if there's a Bitcoin mining scenario that's throwing off a certain amount of yield as a service, if there and that would be like the biggest one in the world that we would do something like that for. If you had Uniswap that said, hey, we'll pay you for branding in front of. We've grown this letter, actually. You guys are about you're the first kickoff with this transition. So going forward, the timing, the reason I'm even bringing this all up and I'm coming to you today, is because the timing could not be better. The market is about to, and I've been saying this, and I just had these updates out a week ago, that crypto is about to explode again. I initially got into crypto, just so you guys know, in the gold investment letter. And believe me, when you're talking to a bunch of gold investors, you think one of two things. Gold investment letters will get it because we understand the monetary system, fractional reserve banking system, all these different types of things already. So would understand the appeal to Bitcoin. And that has been the case with a certain amount of people, including myself. Or there's vitriol, like, what the hell are you saying that this digital scam is versus gold? So I lost a lot of subscribers during those days, but it was in, I believe, May of 2016. It might have even gone into April, but it was definitely at least by May of 2016. I put out a formal recommendation to my broad e-letter list, just like this is here. You're on the free e-letter list right now. And I recommended Bitcoin. It was under $500 of Bitcoin at that time. And I recommended that my subscribers get involved to some degree. At that point, however, I was just dipping my toe in the water. We waited about 15, 18 months for the top to come in 2008, 2017, early 18. I sold too early. I actually got very lucky with everybody that we could have got squeezed. I ended up taking profits around 2,500. It was like a top tick on the intermediate run quickly to 20,000. And I shorted it through GBTC down to like 1,800 or something. Covered the short because it was acting too strong for me. And I just thought, this is the dangerous recipe. Covered it just in time, but I didn't buy a bunch of it back. I wasn't deep into crypto. It was still, there's a learning curve with this deal. So whether you're new and you want to save time and get expedited and just get zeroed into exactly what your options are and what you can and can't do, what you should and shouldn't do in the sense of your own risk appetite, you don't need to get crazy with all these wild tokens and stuff to get started. I tell everybody, whatever the amount is that you want to have allocated to crypto, just take half of that right away and go buy Bitcoin, and or I would still take, maybe 75-25 Bitcoin, Ethereum. Don't worry about Solana's outperformance. We were way ahead of it. Don't worry about Sui's outperformance of Solana. We're all over it in the premium sector. But when you're just starting out, just get your BTC and get it on the books, because what we're seeing today, going over 100,000, when this bursts through the 108 or whatever high that we had recently, Bitcoin's going to enter a phase where I call it shock and awe. You better have your ducks in a row. This is an urgent message, actually, to a lot of you, and an invitation to get more involved. The premium members just get, we have a model portfolio that is updated all the time. We have a number of we carve out, I think it's usually like 10 or 12 active positions in the top 60 tokens, okay, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, that I like the best, that I have buy up to price limits on, percentage allocation, theoretical stuff, but you get to choose at the end of the day. We have a mid cap arena, which is and trust me, I'm going to give you some picks that'll make this worth your time, but I want to lay this out because it's expedition time, expedience. Like, some of you know that you've got to get caught up. So you've got your option of like, let's get to know each other here. I am committing to be more active as the face and founder of Phenom Crypto Letter going forward. So you're going to get more everything from macro to, special situation type of picks that I'll come out with here, but nothing to the level of the premium. So we have about 6 or 7 mid cap ideas that are my favorite, that are vetted between 100 million and $1 billion market capitalization. And then where we go down from there is where I call them the micro cap gems, the special situations, the really tiny ones. Whereas actually, that's where I thrive. That is where my skill set is, humbly so. There isn't a VC or a crypto fund on planet Earth that outperformed my accounts in 2021 when I was taking partial position profits on dozens and dozens of coins that I had accumulated starting in the bear market of 18, 19, and then, being prepared, buying into the crash of the COVID crash. Anyway, I had 8 tokens, for example, that I booked between 125 and 650 times my money in 2021 when we saw the tops in that crypto cycle. The micro cap gems and things of that nature. So whatever size investor you are, it's going to be helpful. You can choose to go to the ghetto, like I like to spend time in. That's what I call it, with like these sub $5-10 million market cap coins. But I have my own due diligence process. I'm an ex venture capital investor, a portfolio more manager and advisor with some of the top VCs in the world. That's my background. So there's a framework that I put these things into. I started out as a publicly traded, stockbroker in the public markets. So like my way of analyzing opportunities from a startup level, which a lot of these are on the microcap side and mostly in the crypto deal, is, I look for the biggest themes that are going to be plucked out and be the biggest outperformers within a particular cycle. That in the last cycle I had learned, evidently, basically after just 20-hour nights and days of studying, getting ahead of the curve in 2020, realizing it was the biggest single wealth creating opportunity that I had ever seen in my life, coming like a tsunami. And I figured out that NFTs and DeFi would be the 2 biggest winners. So I started to allocate there. I've got thoughts on where a lot of the top performers are going to be. You come onto the premium membership, guys, you're going to get all that information right away. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of the stuff that I'm literally buying today, that is still totally in play. And in fact, a lot of the altcoins, if you do want to play in the real, like the small to mid-size altcoins, there is not a better time to do it, because even though if you were with us for a couple of years, we've had huge upsurges and booked, 7, 8, 10, 12x our money on partial positions, not everything usually. Just tokens like BDP, Big Data Protocol, bought it at 5 cents, it went to 60. Seed GBT, chain GBT, 5 cents to 60. We've had a number of those different things. And one of the most amazing performances within the model portfolio allocation is a token called Saros. I launched this official model portfolio August 29th of last year. So you're talking about 9 months ago, if that. And Saros was one of these microcap gem picks for various reasons I won't get into now at 0.0015 cents. Okay. It was like a $2 or $3 million market cap. Uh, Today it's trading at 16 cents right before I started recording this video. It's over 100x during the last several months, which has seen the bulk of the rest of our model portfolio tiny altcoins just get decimated. So what does that do? That it gives us just such relief, free cash that we could free up by taking profits in Saros and start to sprinkle it in our favorites. And you will see, let me see if I could do it right now. I'll give you a little, what you'll get is a flash screen. Anybody, what you'll see regularly if you're a premium member, I even do it here sometimes. But I just share my screen of my positions, like especially on MEXC. MEXC is the exchange that I use primarily to buy, 95% of the smaller tokens. And it's a great exchange. I also, from time to time, will recommend perpetual futures trades. Those are a little bit more dangerous, and I'm not really a proponent of gathering up debt or leverage, but I'm looking at, and maybe I will do this actually right now. Let me see if I have the invite here, because I will show you some of the, did I go through there? Let's see. Maybe not. One second. I'm just going to do this so you guys can see the reality of the, situation here um, with some of my bets, because this is not, I'm not doing this for shits and giggles. This is real money. I have over half of my net worth in crypto, and I have big bets, very big bets in small shit, because I know that the way that I allocate things, and I am right on board with what is going to be the bottom's in Bitcoin for this recent pullback. It's in. And now we start to go into a much more favorable season for not only Bitcoin, but for the entire situation in the alt season that people said disappeared and somehow went away. And I'm not getting this Zoom invite for some reason, but I will show you. Let me just do this. Okay. So you can see here my MEXC account. These are perpetual futures. I'm sure you can see that. These are all the positions I have on right now. You can see the unrealized P&L. I'm down on one, which is ZK Sync, which we actually just made that. These are just orders there on the perpetual futures. I give those ideas out from time to time when they look really good. There's one in particular right now. I had just recommended a premium. If you want to sign up, you'll get it immediately. You can sign up on MEXC and you get a kickback on your commission if you use the link. I'll put it in below. But these guys have not only the futures trading, but they have a lot of staking opportunities on the site. But also, they're sort of like a mini Binance in the sense that you could just buy virtually any of the small tokens, most of them that I cover here. And what I was going to mention as well. And so things are popping, and this is exactly what I've been forecasting recently. And so the ones that I want to give you for this perpetual, or the prediction market flub that we had go out, my apologies. I'm just going to give you guys, listen, there's two options. Well, three. You can unsubscribe, but listen, stick with me for a bit. You're going to find that you get very unique and interesting content from the Phenom Crypto Letter, with the mixture of how many of you, I hope, love the weekly news digest. But when I come in with content, it's a whole other ball game, because I put forth information about the sector, where we are, many little points of detail that I'm sitting around absorbing for just ridiculous amounts of time every week. And giving you the discerned, hopefully condensed version of what you need to know. But on top of that, it's actionable. actionable ideas. And you'll find that, so, you have a guarantee. I will never shill a coin that I'm being paid to shill, ever. What you're going to get are me shilling like smaller micro caps, because I've got the biggest positions you could possibly imagine. So, I'm betting myself. I'm betting, on my own money. It's not to like get you guys to buy it and I dump it on you. That's not the case. But yeah, so check this out. I mean, I'll give you a glimpse at top size um, spot token position right now. RBC, 6.1 million tokens, 103 grand bet. We were buying this Rubik, for example, for 18 months, up to like a penny and a half. And then all of a sudden, it was late last year, I believe it was on my birthday actually, where we had a run on Rubik, which is a very dynamic layer two that is utilized quite a bit. It's trading for a few $1 million market cap. It is a real legitimate product. And that's the reason I'm so deep into it, because it's very undervalued. We were buying this thing for months on end. A lot, some people give up and stuff like that. You just have to stick through it, because all of a sudden, yeah, this was sorry to keep swapping this on you, but I can't get the screen share, but you'll get the picture pretty quick. We went from point zero point 1.2 pennies last October, November, up to over 7 cents, and a huge spike with a lot of volume. And so I had over 6 million tokens back then. I methodically, so I didn't hurt the market. And I told everybody this, I got out of a third, because it was basically a triple of my cost average, which I always, with this game, one of the things you'll find, I think, if you're engaged here, that could be helpful. I focus a lot on like what I think is the toughest part of this game: when and how to sell. When do you fricking sell this shit? You keep hearing about thousand beggars. What are you going to do? Hold the whole thing until it gets to 1,000 and then hope that you're going to pick the tippity top? Otherwise, you'll wait for it to go back to the top, and then it ends up going back to zero. This is one of the areas that I have put in tremendous amounts of work, self-work, studying, just awareness, things on, and I put those into frameworks. Anyway, I sold that third of my Rubik, got all my principal risk out, owned 2/3 of my Rubik position, which was worth low six figures for free, and had a plan that if we were going to keep going, I would have staggered out of more of the position. But it rolled right back over. It went back down to the low, just above a penny. And so I bought over 2 million units in the last month back to over 2 million tokens. And Rubik is one that, you can, if you're a long-term investor, you can buy it all day up to 2 cents. If you are really price sensitive, I mean, I would buy it up to 0.017 or 8 to get like a half of a position on and see if it gets any weaker. But look, that's just one. You're going to see, if you come on a premium, all of the shit that I own, which is not all put onto the model portfolio. I take the creme de la creme for you guys to keep it as simple as possible every month. And right now I decided we're going to do it every 2 weeks because of how important of a time it is. Q&As. You can come on and just wherever you're at, let's get you teed up and tightened up. But the big thing here, guys, if any of you are professional investors, institutional, or you're just much more savvy, you're high net worth, and you're more of a savvy individual in terms of ideas, I have many people like that on my various newsletters that, like, at least my hope is that if they get a letter from Mashinsky with a recommendation, they're at least going to look at that on their own, because they know it's not complete garbage. Maybe buy or not. But there are also a lot of people that depend on my research, particularly with crypto. I was very early, or somewhat early. I wasn't a crypto OG, but I have a background that is like made in heaven for this stuff. And right now, what I see is the next 6 to 9 months is going to be the time of reaping. But you have to sow the piss out of whatever you're going to do, or whatever you need, or whatever you want right now. and get busy. So if you would like to, let me see if I can find like a discount link of something. Otherwise I might have to wait. Otherwise, you know what? The premium is priced very cheaply. You're never going to get bullshit from me. You're going to get just what I own and what I share, up to what price I would buy, where I'm going to sell it. You know, there's no angle here. Either I'm good at making money in the market in crypto, or I'm not. And you'll find that out within your year. You make the investment. The bottom line is that, you know, even if you invest 5 or 10 grand in this crypto stuff, if you're buying some of the microcap tokens, you know, just one of them is going to end up paying back for your membership and all kinds of other different things. You know, I have plenty of losers because of the dynamic with crypto. You have to understand that there's always a correlated level of risk with reward. So if something we're looking for to go up potentially 50 or 100 fold, guess what? That particular scenario has got a much higher risk profile of going to zero than does like Amazon stock, you know, like it's just the way it is. So there are some of these that I go into, some of the smaller ones, and I do my best to avoid them. But like you'll get rug pulled once in a while. We had 2 of those last year. But then look at Soros, you know, up 100x in the beat of the bear market. And there are a number of other ones. After I came out with the model portfolio in August of last year, when we went into the presidential cycle, our entire model portfolio from the top 60 to the mid caps to the micro cap gems, there was probably 75 to 80% of all of them were holds because we weren't buying more. They were way above our buy up to price. There wasn't anything you could buy that was still under my buy up to prices, which I think is also a very important guide. And so, yeah, so like basically now it's the opposite. You got to get in there. You got to get in there and get shopping and get busy, even if it's just you know, you don't have anything to do with getting more involved with us, but just make sure your BTC game is tight. And then what else was I going to give you guys? All right, I'm going to just give you 2 little tiny flyers that are from our premium list. Caution exercised, you know. These are deals you can buy on Mexi. I'll leave the link. You get your discount. And you can buy them on Mexi if you can just send Bitcoin or a Tether or whatever to the exchange, and then you can buy whatever you like with these. But just 2 that I'm going to bring up that I think are absolutely, because they've been destroyed, and I've continued to buy them, and you can buy them cheaper, much cheaper than I own them. And that would be D Travel, TRVL. TRVL is right now trading at just under a penny. Okay. Look at this company's Twitter and their website and everything. It's a disruptive scenario for the entire travel industry, Airbnb. And the thing is very volatile. It'll go to nothing and then it'll just fly and go up 10x. This thing is so on sale right now. I have been buying the shit out of it. I believe, let me just see if I can get this other account up. I don't think I can, but I think that the positions together, I own just on Mexi here, you know, I've got 3 million TRVL. I don't bullshit with my position numbers, guys, just so you know. I've got 3 million there, and then I'm down a good chunk, and I've got another like 2.7 million on Gate IO. And the other one, guys, that you gotta get a piece of this one if you can for gaming, it's Noob, Noob, Blast Royale. And I wouldn't chase TRVL past like a penny and a half. If you're gonna hold it longer term, that's fine. It has gone up today and kind of spiked a little bit. So like, you know, just be careful on how much you buy or buy up to. Maybe just grab a little position now and then, you know, give it a few days to see where it chills out at. But you could buy it up to a penny and a half. And then we've got on this Blast Royale. I mean, go look at their X account. This is a gaming deal that has huge engagement, 200 and some thousand X followers, trading at like less than a few $100,000 market cap. totally basing at these all-time lows. It's been completely pummeled and destroyed. And I own 30 million noob, which is 15% of the entire supply. And I've just been buying it and buying it and buying it. I might go up a little bit more. This one is such a no-brainer to me with huge upside. I just want to give you those two ideas out of our premium portfolio. These are some of the micro cap gem ideas that you'll get. And noob, it's at 0.00041. I wouldn't pay over 0.0007 for now, but this is the type of situation that's going to go back. And where was this, by the way? This just came out in the last year and was like 14 cents when it came on the scene in Q4 last year. So it's just been destroyed. It's viable. It's a viable game with a huge community, a robust community. It's worth the gamble for me. I go a little bit nuts in some of these things. You guys don't have to certainly do that. You could also just keep your money at the higher end of the market, the more liquid, the less volatile. There's still, Bitcoin has averaged 150% annual return since 2012. So that number is going to come down over time with more and more institutional adoption and things of that nature. But guys, you can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, buy some of the blue chips like in our model portfolio there, and just don't touch the shit. And then if you get pullbacks, buy more. It's a crazy but simple game. And I will help you through as much as possible. So if you want to leap into premium, otherwise this is an introduction with a lot of you, and look for more free content coming up. I will, my typical premise of this, the reason GIL, Gold Investment Letter, has been so successful for so long is because my attitude was when I have people come on the free e-letter, I build a relationship with the free list, before saying, hey, I've got a premium service. So in this case, though, the timing, like, look, if you jump, I just know that I'm going to drop some piles of cash in your lap. So that's it for today, guys. Cheers. Thanks for listening to my musings.